welcome. Thank you all for being here at the Partners for Possibility Learning Circle 20 celebration event, which means that there have been 20 groups of principals and business leaders who have traveled a year-long journey of leadership development together. This is the 20th group, and boy, has it been quite a wonderful and challenging road that we've been on. While I'm getting that up, so one of the aspects of the Partners for Possibility program is really working on the relationship, and I think that's something that this circle really did very well. Is they formed those relationships, and you can see that these are partnerships that are going to continue, and there's a lot of stuff that they're still wanting to do together. So the next partnership that I'm going to call up is Marlon and Salim. This is also a partnership that right from the beginning, the two of them just bonded and formed this amazing relationship. It was so interesting to see you guys when Salim arrived this evening, how Marlon, you were like, the two of you were like glued together. It was it was really wonderful to see this partnership that just gelled right from the beginning. And I think also another partnership that really had to face the complexities of not only a very difficult school environment, but then also a very difficult economic environment with, I wouldn't like to be anywhere near the stock exchange in these very volatile times. So I think a lot of stress and busyness and complexity. So yeah, without further ado, I'd like to call on Marlon and Salim.
Good evening, everybody. To the people on this side as well, good evening. My little daughter is here, and she's watching me, and she said to me, "I've never seen you so nervous." So please bear with me. Perhaps just a little bit of background about myself and my business partner. My name is Marlon Lowe. I'm the principal of Eldorado Park Secondary School, and my business partner is Salim Simmerlin, the CEO of Tebe Investments. Now, I think by now most of you know where is Eldorado Park, if I'm not mistaken. I've joined the school. The school is also affectionately known as the Blue School. So if you go to Eldorado Park and you're looking for the school, ask for the Blue School. It's opposite the police station. It's the easiest way for you to get there. I've joined the school in 2014, and when I've joined the school, I was a principal at the school in Coronationville, and then they transferred me to the Blue School. I think there were a couple of problems there. When I've joined the school, I had to change my strategy. The school at that point in time in 2013, they attained 82% pass rate. There's about 1,000, we're sitting currently with 1,451 learners, 45 staff members. Now, when you listen to the previous principals, 1,400 is not a lot. But try and manage those people, it's very difficult. Our motto at the school, or the slogan of the school, is knowledge is power, and indeed, knowledge is power. When I've joined the school, one of the biggest challenges that I faced is the staff. The staff was very divided. You have two deputies who don't see eye to eye. You have a newly appointed principal whom they don't want at the school. You could see the learners are also very angry. And obviously, I think somebody touched on the substance abuse. When you go to township schools, substance abuse is a problem. Drugs and so on. Unemployment in the area is bad. I think on some of the slides you will see some of the substances that we got from learners as well. And you had to find ways to see and figure out how we're going to get these people together. In 2014, our pass rate went up to 94.6%. And then the challenge started really, where you could see people don't want to work together. How do you get this angry group of learners, this angry group of teachers to work together so that we can achieve? How do you get your two deputy principals to work together? How do you get your SNT to work together? And it was frustrating. I think when I've met and when I've joined Partners for Possibilities, some of the colleagues, they've listened to me. I could share my frustrations that I went through, not just at that school, but at the previous school as well. And what made me so unpopular 2014 is the fact that within that year, I've got 2 staff members dismissed. You follow procedure, you get them out of the system because they did very wrong things at school. Some of them will come to school intoxicated, some of them will not do their work. And I think that turned quite a number of teachers against me instead of assisting me. And I've continued with that as well, with regard to making sure there is leadership in the school. I've then met Mr. Cool through Partners of Possibilities, and Elman said something that you don't listen very well. And my daughter looked at me and she said, "Daddy, that's you." And when you are busy with the sentence, I will finish it. So in terms of the teachers and staff members as well, I wasn't too friendly with them. Let me be honest with you, because I had to go and clean up the school. I wasn't too friendly with them. And I think also when I started with Partners of Possibilities, I've been introduced by another principal who said, maybe you should try this as well. And at first I said, okay, it's another GDE workshop. Let's go and see whether it's going to work. Maybe there might be a little bit of money so that we can at least build the school. But it didn't work like that, unfortunately. But what I've learned also from this particular group of people, for the first time I could share with people who would understand where I'm coming from and who would listen to you. And that meant a lot to me. Now, some of the issues that is happening at school, my wife is a teacher as well, so I don't take those things home. So she's also hearing some of these things for the very first time. So because that would also bring some kind of tension in the house. And those are the realities that I had to face, and I had to look for ways to see how do I fix this school. So by the way, this is a very old school. The school was very dilapidated when I joined the school. The school was established in 1970. So you can imagine. But by God's grace, we've managed to pull through. When I've mentioned the word Mr. Cool and I referred to Salim, in most cases I don't want to show emotion. But when I've met Salim, I've looked at this gentleman listening to me attentively. Not 70% listening, but 100% listening. And that also changed my perception of who I am as a person and who I am as a leader as well. So thank you to you, Salim. I've learned to listen attentively, make notes of what people are saying so that you can use it against them. Those are some of the things. What did we do to ensure that we get our learners to achieve, our teachers to achieve, to try and get unity? That is our biggest challenge. We decided to look on how do we get unity, how do we get learner achievement. In terms of sports, the school were not very much involved and participated in sporting activities. So we've started a couple of years ago with the sports field. I reclaimed the land, and the sports field, we started to get our learners involved in sporting activities again. We started to get our teachers involved. They had to dedicate themselves towards the different committees at school. We've asked them to make sure that if they are there, then obviously we will attract the learners. And one of the reasons why we follow that suit is simply because we are trying to get learners away from drugs. We're trying to get them away from substances. And it was amazing to see how many learners would listen to that call. They were involved in athletics. Last year we were the champions from first sport. We were the champions in Eldorado Park. In Eldorado Park, athletics is big. So we were the champions. We defended the title this year again. I spoke to the SGP as well, and we decided then let us buy a new athletic kit for these learners, just to give them that extra energy. It's also a way of rewarding them. And it's amazing how these learners perform in this year's sports as well. did extremely well. We are still currently the champions. Our teachers as well. This is not a learner. This is one of the teachers. We rewarded teachers as well. He was involved in soccer and running as well. So go to the assemblies, we will call the teachers, we will call learners and show the rest of the school what can be done. And I think that made a huge difference. With regard to the academic performance, we've made sure that we take control of curriculum delivery in class. The instruction was very clear to the deputies and to HUDs to say you need to go and visit classes. I went to classes where I will sit and sign the books of learners. I will ask HUDs and deputies, give me your books because you're also teaching. I was also teaching as well. Write down the names of all the learners, write down what I see in the books. By doing that, they could see and parents could see also that I'm on top of it. So a teacher can't tell me, but I'm on par with the syllabus. And because I'm sitting with the evidence in front of them. So that also helped to make sure that in terms of curriculum management, it's there. There you can see our learners busy at this area here. Used to be a vacant area. It was school property, but it was not used. You'll see that people will mark people here, they will rob people here, but people said to us when we started with this project, Meneer, you will never be able to do it. Within 2 years' time, we have 3 soccer fields on the sports field. We did not use a lot of money. We started to speak to the community, to business in the community, and this is how far we got with some of these things as well. And the learners, the participation, you can see this is our athletes at the athletic meeting at the beginning of this year. This is the new kit for them, and we did extremely well. Partners for Possibilities, I think there's a slide there. You can see some of my new family that I've met. I think there's some familiar faces as well. This is just a reminder to me of the journey that we went through and how people embraced me and how people also could motivate and inspire me to say, carry on, we are busy with something good. And once again, I know I'm Dina's biggest problem. Whenever there's a problem within this group, it's Marlon. She's worried about Marlon. Marlon, where's your stuff? Marlon, where? So I want to say thank you to Dina for her patience. Thank you to everybody else that's behind the scenes with Partners for Possibilities for giving us this opportunity and for supporting us as well. By the way, I forgot to just mention the graduation. What we decided to do, I know there's about 5 minutes or 3 minutes left. What we decided to do is to reward those learners, the matriculants, who passed the previous year. We would invite only them to the graduation service, them and their parents. We will give them a full graduation, obviously meet and eats and so on. But just to acknowledge their performance and also to encourage the grade 11s to do the very same thing the following year. So this is what happened at the beginning of this year. That is our chairperson, Mr. Kluter, handing over some of the certificates. But we also surprised teachers. We gave teachers where in some of the subjects where they attained good results, distinctions, and we gave those teachers certificates as well. So all the teachers within that particular department of that subject received certificates, because teachers are saying, but I also contributed. It's not just the grade 12 teacher. So we gave it to all of them. And I think that also pulled us a little bit closer to our goal that we wanted to achieve in terms of unity. I want to hand over to Salim. There's about 2 minutes left, Salim. I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
I must warn you that I speak a lot, and 2 minutes is wholly insufficient. Yes, I wanted to appeal to you to break protocol.
Your appeal was wrong.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I wasn't aware that I was going to be speaking this evening, and then Dina accosted me on my way in. And usually when I'm required to speak, as I am quite often, I have a very capable team that actually writes my speeches for me. So where you have heard me speak in the past and you thought, that's a great speech, it wasn't my words. It was the team behind me. So tonight I'm at a loss, and I think that the only thing that I can do is to tell a story about why I got involved in this program. But that story starts many years ago on a Sunday afternoon on the 11th of February 1990. On that day, Nelson Mandela was released from prison. A momentous occasion in our country's history. He was released and he came out to join some of his former trialists, former prisoners that had served time with him. One amongst them whom he was very close to was released about 4 months before that in October 1989, Walter Sisulu. And Sisulu reminded Mandela of some of the things that they discussed even on Robben Island, but more laterally at Victor Verster. That when we come out, when the march to democracy begins, our people need capacity. Our nation needs resources. More importantly, we need people resources for that enormous task of building a nation. And the issue was, how do you do that? And they resolved to form a community trust at that time called the Batu Batu Trust. Batu Batu Trust was charged with the responsibility, as it continues to maintain today, to build communities. It was funded by the Nordic countries, Sweden, Denmark, and other countries. But they also were very alive to the fact that within a very short space of time after democracy comes into the country, that external funding is going to dry up. So what then do you do to maintain the community development work that you're doing? And they resolved to reverse everything and to form a business that would fund the trust to do community development work. It was a novel, untested idea at the time, and thus was born TEBE. TEBE exists to build communities. That's our bottom line. And over the years, through trial and error, we've tried to recruit people who are in accordance with this thinking, who are imbued with this passion to build communities. And I got involved in this program precisely for that. One of my more senior, most respected colleagues did a presentation. He was on the program the year before me. Did a presentation to all 32 CEOs within the group, spoke about the program, and afterwards the group executive chairman called a couple of us together and said, I think this program's for you. Naturally, as a careerist as well, we agreed with his thinking. But it was the best decision that we'd made. But I must be honest, it was an exceptionally uncomfortable journey for me. My background is in turnaround management. I go in and I fix crippled, distressed companies. I come in with an enormous amount of positional authority. I am HNIC when I arrive there. For the white colleagues, that means head nigger in charge. I am head nigger in charge when I get there. I have got positional authority. I issue instructions. Those instructions are obeyed. And then came Partners for Possibilities. And not a single one of my instructions were obeyed. But Dina warned me that you are going to find it very uncomfortable. My colleague also said the same thing. You're going to find it very uncomfortable. And whilst I applaud what Marlon says he's learned and went through, etc., but for me, my colleagues are very surprised at how they think I have mellowed out. I haven't mellowed out. I just listen more attentively, I try, and I allow others to bring their own strengths to the fore. And for me, that was the amazing experience that I noticed. Marlon's own growth, his own development. You as his family would probably have noticed it. He's become calmer, he's more centered, he thinks clearly, and he forgives easily now.
Easier.
So we got involved as TEB, and I got involved because, colleagues, we have a nation to build. There is still so much more to do. And people have to step up. And I leave you with this. If not us, then who?